Hello and welcome back to the channel. The Alstom Innovia Metro, established 40 years ago in 1982, makes for an interesting combination of automated operation with linear induction. Although there are only a handful of systems in operation, the technology is found in different parts of the world. To celebrate this milestone, we will be doing a quick rundown of the systems that are currently using the Innovia Metro in this week's video. To settle nomenclature differences, we will be referring to each type as Innovia 100, 200, and 300, and I apologize to Vancouver viewers for this. We will be mentioning ridership whenever possible as some of these systems don't have numbers posted. Anyways, if you are into transit content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Anyways, let's begin. Line 3 Scarborough connects McCowan with Kennedy in the eastern suburbs of Toronto. Built in 1982, it was the first metro line that invoked the aid of computers in North America. The trains are driverless except for one important action: the opening and closing of doors, as the proposed driverless operation drew ire from the transit unions at the time, forcing the TTC to settle on a grade of automation level 2 type operation. 28 Innovia 100 cars were built to serve the 6.4 kilometer long Scarborough line. All services on this line operate in 4-car formation. The peak frequency is 12 trains per hour per direction. This translated to a daily ridership of 35,000 riders in 2018. In 2021, it was determined that the line be closed and replaced by a subway extension. The World's Expo came to Vancouver in 1986, and the city saw this as an opportunity to build its renewed rail transit line. After opening a demonstration in 1982, the system known as SkyTrain was completed in December 1985. Starting at Waterfront, the line weaved through the former interurban streetcar corridor to New Westminster. 40 years of operation saw extensions to Surrey, Burnaby, and Coquitlam, with a separate automated line connecting Richmond and Vancouver. These days, the Expo and Millennium lines account for just over 60 of the 79-kilometer SkyTrain network. 2019 daily ridership numbers saw more than 359,000 daily boardings, and it shows in the peak frequency, which can reach upwards of one train every 108 seconds. The signature users of the Innovia Metro platform operate 150 Innovia 100 cars in 4 and 6 car formation, 108 Innovia 200 cars in 2 and 4 car formation, and 84 Innovia 300 cars in 4 car formation. In 2024, the first of the 5-car trains will be delivered and will be the replacement of the Innovia 100 cars dating back to 1984. The new 5-car trains, the first odd-numbered multi-car formation of Innovia trains, accompany a new storage yard and the 6-kilometer extension under Broadway at the time of posting. A further extension of the Expo line east to Langley Center, as well as a line to the North Shore, are also being considered at the time of posting. Detroit built its Innovia Metro as a people mover in 1987. Originally planned to be part of a larger subway line, funding commitments failed and resulted in the one-way 5-kilometer loop we see today. Detroit is the car capital of the state, so not much is expected here, especially in the ridership department, where, in 2018, the line amassed just over 4,800 riders. 12 Innovia 100 cars operate on the line in the city, although one site suggests that a few have already been taken out of service. At the time of filming, no trains have been running for the past 23 months due to the global health crisis. However, according to the official website, the line looks to resume operations sometime in the future. Innovia's application is perhaps a subject of debate, as we are now on our second people mover type installation in the JFK AirTrain. This 13-kilometer long system connecting the airport and major rail stations uses 32 wider Innovia 200 cars, which can be operated individually as separate cars, as each car has the necessary onboard computers to operate singularly. However, that's about as good as it gets. Blueprints appeared in 1992 and construction took 11 years and $1.9 billion to complete. Unlike other Innovia systems in North America, this one has a maximum speed of 100 kilometers an hour. The train is free to ride in the terminal. However, heading anywhere outside is a fare of $7.75. This fare will go up to $8 sometime starting in March 2022. Frequency is between every 5 minutes peak to every 12 minutes off peak, whether on the red or green lines, whereas service in the terminal loop approaches every couple minutes. For ridership, it is estimated to have somewhere in the ballpark of 55 to 60,000 daily riders in 2019. At the time of filming, there are no firm plans to expand service anytime soon. The Innovia brand is not just limited to North America, as proven by the Kelana Jaya line in Malaysia. The launch customer for the Innovia 200 saw 35 two-car sets delivered in 1998 for the line's opening between Gombak and Kuala Lumpur's Northern District to Kelana Jaya west of the city center. A southbound extension in 2016 saw 13 new stations being built, bringing the line to a length of almost 47 kilometers and the total number of stations from 24 to 37. This makes the Kelana Jaya line the longest single line which uses Innovia technology. The fleet consists of more than 260 Innovia 200 and 300 cars, with the majority of these in 4-car formation. This includes cars with full perimeter seating and full gangway Innovia 200s, of which some of these were actually former 2-car sets. As for service, it looks to be one train every 3 minutes or every 180 seconds during peak times. Looking at ridership, this is where it gets interesting. We're going to visualize this with a graph I made in Excel. Looking here, the two systems have very similar ridership numbers, but the key here is that the same ridership is achieved in fewer tracks on the line in Kuala Lumpur. That said, this is part of a larger point, so stay tuned until the end of the video. This suburb of Seoul, South Korea started its Innovia metro system in 2013 after delays in construction and corruption allegations. In any case, like the JFK AirTrain, the Everline uses 30 similarly modified Innovia 200s in 1-car formation on the 18-kilometer line. It connects Gihung in Seoul south to Jeondae Everland, a theme park 1.5 kilometers northwest of the station. A fare integration program introduced in September 2014 is likely to have caused an increase in ridership from 9,000 riders per day on opening day to 20,000 riders a day in 2015. In 2016, operations were transferred to a public-private entity, Neotrans, a subsidiary of the Doosan Group. At the time of posting, there are proposals to extend the line 6.6 kilometers west to Gwangyo Station to meet up with the Shimbundang line and Gyeonggi University. The Beijing Capital Airport Express is the last entry for this week's video. Completed in 2008, the first phase of this 28-kilometer line had 4 stations and connected Beijing International Airport to lines 2 and 13 of the Beijing subway. A 1-station extension was opened on December 31st, 2021, bringing it to 5 stations and 30 kilometers in length. The line uses modified, fully articulated 4-car Innovia 200 trains made by a consortium involving Bombardier and a separate Chinese company. The trains operate at 110 kilometers an hour, the fastest known operating speed achievable by the Innovia platform. Also interesting is that the cars only have 2 doors per side, the only Innovia 200s in permanent multi-car formation to feature this setup. And like Toronto, operators are positioned in front to monitor operations, so they're not the same grade of automation as Vancouver and Kuala Lumpur. In 2014, the line reached an average ridership of 32,000 daily riders. While there are no significant long-term plans in place, there is a plan to build an infill station in a suburban area to connect with Line 14 on the Beijing subway. Recently, deliveries started on 5 new train sets, expanding the fleet from 10 4-car sets to a total of 15 trains and 60 cars. For a medium-sized metro scene in North America and Asia, its application as a transit system is a mixed bag. It's a subway line in 2 cities, an LRT in 1, a people mover in 2 other cities, and an airport access express in 1 city. Even more strange is that New York's application can be looked at as both an airport link and a people mover. To look at ridership as a whole is a disservice to each line's respective lengths, so it's best to look at ridership as compared to its length. On the screen right now are the latest daily ridership figures for the 7 systems before 2019. Right away, we see that there is not much correlation when just looking at the technology. This is just one example where form is becoming less apparent as we move forward. And this isn't just applied to the Inovia platform. In Japan, there are a few systems where there are full-size subway trains running on what is normally a streetcar line. Then in Europe, you have the opposite, where streetcar-sized rolling stock is taking care of your major subway services. There's just so much flexibility these days with rolling stock and form, and I think the Inovia system is a testament to that. And that brings us to the end of this week's video. What do you think is the most significant Inovia product? I think it's the Inovia 200 because of its different form factors. Anyways, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.